mateys, welcome to Sea of Thieves. This is Dan Ron with Trash Ass Gamers, and we're playing the anniversary update of Sea of Thieves, specifically the Tall Tales. We're on part 3, which is the Legendary Storyteller, so if you complete this, you'll get the Legendary Storyteller achievement. We're obviously working towards getting all the commendations in the Tall Tale to make progress towards the Seeker of Grand Adventure achievement, and you'll get Sea of Dreams once you get all the commendations in this particular mission. I do have all of Briggsy's Journal locations in this video at the end, so if you're coming just for that, you know, that's at the end of the video. So this quest, to pick it up, this is our third mission. You're going to pick this up at Ancient Spire Outpost, kind of in the southeastern portion of the map, and you're going to pick it up from Tasha, and she's going to give you a kind of a spiel about how she used to go on an adventure with Briggsy, and she'll eventually give you a journal, and we're going to go over that journal because the journal is going to give you 3 of a possible 6 stories that she went on, and it's random which 3 you'll receive, and you're tasked with basically going and getting 2 keys and a treasure chest. And so we're going to show you all 6 of those possibilities. And before we get started, again, a big thanks to everybody that's shown me support thus far. Kind of a new channel, just a hobby, but if you like the videos and you like the content, feel free to like and subscribe. So let's get started with the first of the possible quests, which is Smallest Boat. And really what you need to pay attention to is that it kind of starts near Golden Sands. She goes through these 2 large rocks to Sanctuary Outpost and then rows away to an island. And by looking at that map, it's at Lone Cove, and if you go to the north portion of Lone Cove and drop off, you're going to find this little cove, and inside this cove is what we're looking for, our first piece of treasure, which is actually right in front of this rowboat right here. Now the actual piece of treasure that you get is not going to be the same as me, right? It's going to be dependent on what the game gives you. For this particular one, I got the crown key. Alright, so let's look at the next one, Fish Friends. This is going to be in Mermaid's hideaway. Kind of, you know, maybe there's a clue there. Mermaid will know your ship. But more importantly, on the bottom right, you can see this pillar that has the treasure chest on it next to the large island. And that corresponds to this area right here. Specifically, you can see that pillar standing by itself. And to get there, you're going to have to launch yourself up there with a cannon. That can be kind of a difficult shot. It took me a few tries to get up there. But once you do get up here, the treasure or treasure chest or the key, whichever one, will actually be right here. So dig that up. And the third of the possible ones is monster hunting, and of course we have the characteristic 3 peaks of crooked masts that's really easily identifiable. And then if you look to the right of that, there's a person swimming over what looks like a wrecked ship, so we need to look underwater. There's the golden chest underwater. So this is going to be a crooked mast, and if we just kind of launch over here and we look off the edge of the southwest, we can see the bow of a ship. And you probably noticed that prior to this update, you know, that ship has been there. But if you kind of swim to the bottom of that, the piece of treasure will be right there at the bottom. Alright, the next possible one you're going to get is Baddies Attack, and this is going to take place at Old Salt's Atoll, and you kind of need to just know the bottom left that there, you know, this island, if you've been here before, you'll recognize it. It has the halved ship on such a small island, and on the top left of the right page, you see the treasure chest right below the bow of the ship. So let's just shoot ourselves over there and dig that area up, and that'll be right here. Alright, and the next possible one is Naughty Man, and this one was kind of difficult to figure out, but I guess you just gotta kind of figure it out by the top left and top right are actually pictures of the island. They're drawings of the island, and this is going to be Scurvy Isle. So that was kind of difficult to figure out, but the drawing does kind of match up. And then if you look at the drawing, the chest is actually right in front of the rock on the eastern side of Scurvy Isle, right here. or a key, whatever. So the last possible chest is treasure adventure, and on the bottom right you can see there's an island that's kind of split in half, and then there's a water in between the two little isles, and that's actually a shipwreck, and at the bottom of that shipwreck is the golden treasure. And you got to kind of find this because it's not a charted island, and it corresponds to K9 on your map. And if you go here, you can see that split island, and if you dive into here, you're going to see a wrecked ship similar to what was in the drawings. And you have to swim pretty deep here, swim around a little bit. It's not in the captain's quarters, don't go there. But it's actually pretty deep down into the water. If you go kind of down where the bow of the ship is and just kind of swim down, eventually you'll see the glimmer and you'll pick up that portion of treasure. So nonetheless, whichever 3 of those 6 that you got, eventually you're going to be having the chest, and you're going to have the crown key and the chalice key, and you have to put both of those keys into Briggsy's chest to open it. And when you open it, the next portion of the quest is going to start by getting basically this carved plank of wood. And you're kind of like, what the hell, when you first look at it. But essentially, when you look at it, you'll see it has a shape carved into it, as well as somewhere on the board will be a hole. So there's a shape and a hole. And what's important about this is if you turn it around as if you were showing it to somebody, you're going to see a designation of where that is. So that says R13. And that's going to correspond to the island on the map where it's located. So you see here R13. So you go to your map and you go to R13, and you know that corresponds to Kraken's Fall. Now there's a ton of these. There's several wooden planks that you can get, but it's really easy because it's going to tell you exactly what island to go to by the navigation of the letter and number. And then you need to find whatever matches up with your carved wood. So right here on kind of the northwest portion of Kraken Fall, I've matched up that crashed ship, and then that hole is going to correspond to the dig site. So just as another example, this is another one that I got, and it says H6. So if you go back to your map and look, H6 is going to correspond to Lone Cove. So if we go here, we got to essentially, again, we got to match up the image. And generally, I thought it was pretty easy. Again, there's a ton of these, but you're going to, know where to go based on the number designation, and then you need to match up that carve with, the area of the map that it corresponds to. So there's a bunch of those. You may get different ones than the one I'm showing here, but eventually you're going to dig up this piece of treasure, and that's then we need to essentially deliver it. But prior to doing that, we need to collect all of Briggsy's journal for the commendation, because remember, you have to be doing the quest for the collection of these journals to count. So our first one's going to be on Old Salt Atoll, and just kind of launch at the front of the crashed boat here. If we go up to the front, it'll be right to the left side of the front behind some broken wood. Alright, the next Briggsy's Journal is at Mermaid's Hideaway. And this journal is pretty easy to find. It's just right along the beach. So if you just jump off your boat and kind of run along the eastern beach all the way to this campfire. There's actually 2 campfires, so don't get confused. There's 2 campfires on the eastern beach, but it's the one all the way to the northeast of Mermaid's Hideaway. And then you'll find the journal inside of a barrel next to the campfire. And the third Briggsy's Journal is going to be located at Lone Cove, and it's actually at the same spot that we found the treasure item in one of the earlier quests, the smaller boat quest. So in here, it's actually going to be up on this rock beside some of those glowing mushrooms. The fourth Briggsy's Journal is going to be a Daggertooth outpost. It's actually going to be in the tavern or the pub. As soon as you enter the tavern and look to your right, there's going to be a bookshelf with several books on it, and the one you can interact with is obviously the fourth Briggsy's Journal. And the final Briggsy's Journal is located at Galleon's Grave Outpost. And this one was kind of hard to get because you got to go all the way to the tip of the sunken galleon at the top of Galleon's grave. And we're going to walk all the way out. And basically, you have these two cages hanging from the tip, and you need to inch off to the one that's lower. So, off to the right, kind of inch off. As soon as you fall off, tap left so you land on top of that cage, and then that's going to allow you to see the book inside of the other cage. If you jump on top of this cave, you won't be able to interact with this book, although it didn't give me an X to interact with it, but eventually I just pressed X and it worked. So that is the 5th journal. That was a pretty interesting one to get. So after we've done that, we're ready to turn in the treasure, and we're going to go give this back to Tasha at the Ancient Spire Outpost. So let's walk up there and we'll give that to her.
There's crown.
So once you give her the ancient crown, that'll end the quest, and you'll get the Legendary Storyteller achievement, and we'll be one step closer to getting all the commendations and all the missions. So I hope you found the guide helpful. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll check out the commendations here. You can see we've got everything, including the Briggsy's journals. Now you'll just need to complete it 4 more times, and once you do that, you'll have all the commendations in this mission. So I hope you found it helpful. If you did, feel free to like and subscribe, and hopefully we'll see you out on the seas and see you in part 4.